You are a bad man!
Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, and I got a bad man to talk about with you guys today. This is coming from the Raging Silence album, as we have been covering this season. Man, this is such a good album. Great change in the band. Really love the direction that they're going in, and we're just going to get right into the song today. What do you say? Here it is. Well, let's just talk about that intro. Some nice creepy tones there. A couple of nice layers I'm hearing in there, giving you that really, I'm in a dark alley and there's someone slowly following me, but I can't detect them kind of feel. Just that little pulse, that bump, bump. It's not a lot. It's not a heartbeat because it's not continuing in that typical rhythmic pattern. It's just appearing. And that kind of, I think, gives it a little more intensity. I write a lot of horror stuff, so this is really familiar ground for me. And I can say it's a lot of fun doing it. You can just take sounds and layer them and make this atmosphere that can be so controlling over the way you think and the way you feel. You feel like there's somebody standing behind you, just watching you listen to this almost. But it's a really cool opening. I really like it. And let's see what happens next, because I think the band's kicking in. Sorry, Bernie, but before we get into the lyrical part of the song, let's just talk about that opening. Did not expect it to kick in with such a fast beat. It just didn't occur to me that it would. Going from that sort of dark intro, you expect something that's going to be maybe a little slower, a little drawn out, little air of mystery, if you would. But I liked that it just kind of kicked in, unexpectedly. And it's got a good beat to it. The bass is grooving. I'm hearing a couple of layers of guitar there, but the guitar sounds nice and bright. Hearing some keyboards layered in there, getting a little bit buried by the guitar, but we got a nice solid beat coming from Lee Kerslake, of course. So far, so good. Let's see where it goes. Wow, this is really cool. So I like in the first half, those little keyboard fill-ins between the lines of the verse, and then the guitar counterpart that comes in after that. Really nice layers, really interesting, not clouding the song too much with too many sounds. Everything's cutting through and sounds really good. But I love those, I've talked about this so many times, how I love those just little fill-in parts. They really make the song for me a lot of times, and they've done some great stuff here so far. Love the sound of the keyboards just being, light and warm, and then the guitars coming in a little heavier. I like that they put the guitars second, because it's kind of like the keyboards are a warm-up for when it gets heavier, which is, it's a good order of operation. Okay, well, that was a killer fill from Lee Kerslake right there. But let's talk about Bernie's vocals. He sounds so good and strong. I mean, it's believable, this character that he's portraying of somebody who's bad. He's just got that real thick sound to him and some really good power behind his voice. Just the right amount of grit. Sounds really good. And I like when he doubles himself there on a couple of lines. Sounds really nice. Really good. A lot of singers, when they double themselves, they just don't sound good, but this sounds good right here. I like it. Wow, so many cool things going on in that part. I mean, the backing vocals sound really good. It really changes the dynamic of the song because it's like it's a whole different band that's singing right there. And then you've got Lee Kerslake playing 16ths on the hi-hat and then some really nice snare tom stuff right after that. Just really rich and full. And then out of nowhere comes the piano, the really low end of the spectrum on the piano. And then it just stops. So, yeah, really abrupt. Really surprising, very powerful though. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this show. I know it's a bit shorter than normal. No, I'm just kidding. There's more song. Well, a short burst of solo right there from Mick, but that sounded great. A real roller coaster ride on this one. Love the screechiness in the guitar. I think that really cuts through the audio nicely. Very powerful stuff. Man, Lee Kerslake is just on fire in this song. It just feels like he's got so much energy that he's dying to get out. Some great fills, some really nice hi-hat work in this song. Really like what he's doing here. The bass is just going crazy, and it all fits together so well. There's something magical about these guys where at times it feels like they're all individuals just playing their parts, but they all come together so perfectly, especially in a song like this where everyone feels, together, but yet they're doing their own completely different thing. It's really nice. So what I think I'm hearing right now is 3 different guitar tracks. I'm hearing the rhythm track in the right ear, some fill-ins slightly to the left, and then I think there's another just steady rhythm guitar a little bit more to the left, although that could be keyboards. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's guitar because it sounds like it has that same grit to it that we're hearing in the other tracks, maybe just a little bit muted. But yeah, it sounds really, really thick, this song, and I can't tell exactly what the keyboards are doing at this point, but I suspect that they're just playing along in the rhythm, just keeping things nice and thick and full sounding.
Got no timer on the wall clock. Don't care who I tread on. 'Cause I'm a bad, bad man. Bad, bad man. I'm a bad, bad man.
That was a pretty sweet transition right there. I didn't know exactly how they were going to go with that, but I like what they did there. And then, coming back in with Bernie kind of riffing here, it just sounds so good. Yeah, I'm not really hearing anything keyboard specific here, so I'm going to guess he's playing along with Mick and thickening up the sound, but I'm not sure exactly what he's doing because nothing's cutting through. but the bass is cutting through really nicely. Another great fill from Lee Kerslake. Yeah, this song kind of kicks ass, doesn't it? Well, I could have used a little more Bernie or maybe a guitar solo or something at the end, keyboards. But other than that, it was a really good song, real aggressive, but not to the point where it loses you. Really just keeps a great pace the whole time. Nice, bright guitars cutting through, driving the song, killer drumming, great bass playing. I'm sure what Phil's doing is great. I just can't hear it. And a killer vocal delivery, really powerful from Bernie. I mean, every one of these songs, much like Peter Golby, listening to Bernie, he's got just that same power on every song so far. He really knows how to deliver it and be consistent, and it seems to be his wheelhouse. And even on the stuff that I've heard from him since, in the more recent days, like Living the Dream, I have to say he still sounds just as good as he does here to me. Very powerful voice, very great delivery. He could bring that emotion when he wants to, but for a song like this, you don't need the emotion as much as you need to just tell the story. And he does a great job of that with that extra, little bit of grit behind it that really makes it good, especially for a song we were talking about, watch out for me because I'm not good to be around. You want something that's going to be forceful, right? You want to drive that point home instead of being like, no, you know what? You shouldn't be around me. No, you want to be like, you get away. And that is how how the lyrics were delivered for this. So really interesting use of backups too, because we're not getting a high harmony on it. It's more straightforward, but it just changes the sound of the band so dramatically during those sections. I find that really interesting, but great song overall. That will be on the list of songs that I'll listen to many times because it's just got a great drive to it. But great song. This season has just been fantastic. You always worry or wonder with a big, change in the band. We've changed 40% of the band coming into this album. That's a pretty big chunk. So you always wonder, how is it going to sound? How is the writing going to be? And I have to say, they have just brought it up another notch for me on this album. It's been absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to cover the rest of the songs because I'm enjoying every one of them thoroughly. So I hope you guys are too, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Let's get through today, gear up for Friday so that you can do whatever the hell you're going to do on your weekend. And for those of you who work odd schedules, do something for yourself because it's not easy having to work when everyone else is off talking about all the things they're going to do. I used to work a job where I didn't get off until I think it was 11 o'clock at night. And all the people that left at 5 were like, hey, why don't you come to the bar with us? Oh, yeah, that's right. You work late. Well, we might still be there if you want to come by after. And, that sucked. And it was every Friday that would happen. Sometimes Wednesday and Thursday also, but it was every Friday. And so for you guys that don't work the normal banker's hours type schedule, kudos to you because it's hard watching everybody else party. And then there's like 2 people you could hang out with because they all have to work the next day. So I feel for you, but have a great day, everybody. Do something fun. Almost the weekend for most people. And for the rest of you, your time's coming. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcast or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days.